My wife is upset I turned down a promotion. It was too much work.
I don't want to work all day, man. I want a vacation and sit by a beach.
A few years ago, I was working 80 hours a week.
That's too many hours.
And working on weekends.
Oh my God.
I hated it. It was horrible. I had no time to see my kids. They were usually asleep when I got back, and my spicy sleep life was non-existent. The only good thing was the pay. It was very generous. It was so bad.
Oh my God, man's not getting anything.
Wow.
None of it.
By the way, this comes from No 80-Hour Week, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. I quit eventually and quickly found another job in the same field, but this was only a 48-hour week, 6 days a week. The work schedule is much more tolerable, and I can come home by 7 every day and still have dinner with my family and see my kids. The pay is nearly half of what I earned in my previous job, but still quite manageable. Right now, I earn $5,800 per month.
Pretty good.
We used to live in a 5-bedroom house, and we were only using 3 of the rooms, with 1 unused guest room and 1 office that was never used. We moved and downgraded into a much smaller house with 3 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms. There's 1 room for each of my daughters and 1 bedroom for me and my wife. I handle all the finances because my wife isn't good with money. We have much fewer luxuries than we did before, but otherwise all our needs are being met. I am able to save half my pay, $2,700 per month. I have saved almost $10K for my eldest daughter and almost $5K for my younger daughter. I have $70K in my general savings account and have other investments. So, man's doing pretty good.
Man's doing great.
Every month, I give my wife an allowance of $200 to spend on whatever she wants. This does not include groceries and other household expenses, as I do all the household shopping and grocery shopping. We have 2 cars that have been paid off. I would say that despite my salary being halved, we still lead a comfortable life. My wife is a stay-at-home mom, so we rely on my salary. Okay, so he was making a good chunk of change before.
Yeah. But
like,
I mean, it sounds like he hasn't really had to downgrade his life too much, even with that the pay cut.
Last month, I was offered a promotion that would almost double my pay, so he'll go right back to where he was.
But was he gonna have to double his hours?
However, this promotion also changes my duties and requires me to work all 7 days of the week and be able to travel for work frequently.
Okay.
I am expected to work 70 hours a week, which I do not want to do again. I turned the offer down, citing my family commitments, and my boss was very understanding. My wife is upset at me for turning down the promotion. She said we need the money, and if I had taken the promotion, we wouldn't need to stay in a crappy house like the one we are living in now.
Their house isn't crappy though. It's a 3-bed.
She's upset that there's only 3 bedrooms.
Remember, she isn't good with money.
Well, yeah, she liked the lifestyle she had before, where she didn't have to think about how much money she was spending.
How expensive is the house?
She never had
like
to
that
see her
TikTok
husband.
trend, where it's like, how expensive is that? Oh, that's not bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There isn't anything wrong with the house we live in now. The backyard is small, but my kids don't really enjoy playing outside. And the house is in a respectable neighborhood and is actually closer to my daughter's school.
Okay.
There isn't anything broken that requires fixing in the house. The house is smaller than it used to be, but that's about it. Is my wife being unreasonable, or is there something I'm not seeing? Edit. Thanks for all the opinions. My wife knows I hated my previous job, but I don't think she understands the extent of it and how bad it really was. I do not think $200 a month for personal needs is a bad deal, but I don't spend much myself. I guess I could increase the monthly allowance. My wife does not make financial decisions because she's really bad with money, and she racked up credit card debt worth $35K.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, she is
that
really
is a
bad with
lot
money.
of credit card debt.
Yikes. Which took a long time to pay off. This was before we had kids, and it was a mutual decision to let me handle the money. I think we need to have a really long talk. Thanks again for all the replies. Some people are suggesting that she could go back to work, and I think part-time work would be good, especially because our kids are already in school.
What's taking
she
up
doing?
her time?
Shopping?
Probably.
She got that $200 to spend.
Yeah.
There is an update, but do you have any thoughts?
It sounds like she both is not understanding, not curious about like your experience at the job, and doesn't feel like she's pulling her own weight. You know?
Absolutely. Well, the thing is, it doesn't seem like she really cares about OP at all.
Yeah, she's just like, where's
she cares
my
about
money?
their lifestyle. Yeah.
Money, please.
Like he's telling her that he is truly breaking his neck to, you know, afford this lifestyle of 80 hours a week to get, you know, 13,000 a month, but he can't, that's not something that he can keep up.
Also, yeah, what's the point of making all that money if you
can't even enjoy your family?
He literally could not see his children and he could not sleep with his wife.
Yeah.
Like those are the
at
two most important things for a man.
Is that amount of money worth it if you are literally hate your life?
Yeah.
Because he certainly doesn't seem to think so. And she's just like, I actually don't care what you think.
She's like, I would actually like to see less of you.
Yeah. Well, that's what it feels like. Yeah. It feels like, oh, I actually like the way that our marriage is set up because I never see you and you pay for my lifestyle.
Yeah. It's pretty sad. It's pretty sad.
Update.
Let's get into this update.
Thought I would update as the problem has been mostly resolved.
Oh.
And I'm quite happy with the outcome.
You know, you don't see that often here.
Yeah.
But a little happy ending. Let's see. Maybe it's premature happy ending.
Thanks to the people who responded in the previous post. I did briefly skim through all the replies. The first thing I did was have an honest talk with my wife about how I felt during my previous job. She knew that I hated it, but not the extent of how stressed I was feeling during those times. I explained everything and said I will never go back to doing more than 50-hour work weeks ever again. Even if the pay was good, it wasn't worth the mental stress or general well-being. It was a very honest conversation, and I think my wife really understood. She apologized several times and cried a bit. The next part was the house. In my point of view, the house is great in every aspect and meets all our needs perfectly, but she wasn't happy with it. So there could have been something I wasn't seeing, and there was. My wife has really picked up on baking and cooking over the years, and in the new house, the kitchen is much smaller than the previous one. The kitchen space was sacrificed for a bigger living room space, and it made cooking and baking an annoying affair for my wife. She says the kitchen is so narrow that she ends up knocking stuff over and she doesn't like working there. It's true. The kitchen is quite narrow. She apologized for overreacting about the house. I've thought a lot about this, but I don't want to spend extra money on remodeling the kitchen. I think the small kitchen space is something that can be managed. My wife has agreed. She said she was acting in frustration, but doesn't see us moving again or spending money for renovating.
Okay. And also, it sounds like maybe they do own the house if they're spending money on renovating.
Yeah.
Which
is even crazier that she didn't say
anything. She's like,
I don't know, this one's fine.
I mean, the kitchen is like the first thing that you look at.
Personally, that's a big draw for me.
No.
Like if I were looking at houses, I would want a nice kitchen.
You would say something.
Yeah.
You're like, I can't deal with a narrow kitchen.
Yeah. About the general finances, a lot of people were concerned that my wife doesn't know anything about our finances. Rest assured, my wife has access to emergency savings and she is aware of all financial decisions I make. About her allowance, I don't think $200 is very little, but after discussing with my wife, we agreed that she could go back to work. She has a degree but doesn't want to go back to work in that field. She's applied to work in a local bakery as a baker/pastry chef, and she just passed the baking test.
Oh, let's go. That's actually so cute.
Was waiting for her confirmation before posting this. That's lovely.
That's awesome.
She will be earning about $900 per month.
That's awesome.
Wait, this is great.
This is huge.
And this is something that she seems to enjoy.
And you can have baked goods.
Win-win.
Yeah. It might be hard to make them in your narrow kitchen, but nevertheless, you'll have some baked goods.
And has agreed to put $450 into savings for my younger daughter and use the rest for her own desired spending.
Boom.
Love of this.
This is beautiful. Doing something she loves, making some money doing it. This is great.
I am putting away the $200 originally for my wife into savings for our younger daughter. Overall, I am quite happy with the resolution. More savings for our daughters, and my wife has more money to spend. Also, she says she's allowed to bring home extra treats she bakes, so it's a win-win for everyone. And edit, my wife has been interested in going back to work for some time now, but has never actually done it. So I didn't force her to go back to work. This was something we talked about, and she agreed that she wants to go back to work. The work is part-time. She spends $450 on whatever she wants. All of the bills, groceries, and other shopping and financial needs are covered by me. I save $2,700 plus $200, and 90% of the balance of my income is spent on paying bills and other necessities. I do not spend much on myself, around $100, and am perfectly fine with that.
$100 a month?
I guess so.
You only spend $100 on yourself a month?
For the kitchen, by renovating, I meant that we will not be making making major changes. We will manage the space by adding more cabinets, lengthening the countertops, and breaking the wall between the balcony and the kitchen for added space.
The remodeling.
So you are remodeling.
Yeah, okay.
This was not a decision made by me only. This was after a lengthy conversation with my wife. The basics are only given here, but it was a mutual decision by both of us. I do agree my language needs to change. It's not my savings, but our savings, and I'm aware of that and will consciously make the decision to change the way I phrase it. I definitely love my wife and think of us as a team. All our savings are for the benefit of our family, and there is a second update.
I feel like the shoe's gonna drop.
I think so too.
I feel like
we're only halfway through. You know what? No, we're way more than halfway through.
We got one more update?
That was like a really quick, that all went by very quickly.
Oh, wow.
We only have like a little bit left.
Oh, a little bit.
Yeah.
So, but we have room for it all to crumble.
We've got room for dessert.
We got room for dessert.
Edit to $16. New box of tampons and pads. $30. Sunscreen, face wash, moisturizer, and anti-acne prescription. $80. Birth control. $10. Shampoo and conditioner. $50. Gifts. About 2 birthdays a month. Come up for friends and family. It also covers things like weddings. I had to go to 4 last summer. $25 per person is what tends to be expected. In months with no birthdays, I put this towards the Christmas fund. $40. Clothes. I thrift all of my clothes and find that each month I have to buy either a new shirt or new pants.
Wow. I mean, man has got his finances in order. Wow.
$120 transit. A transit pass in my city is $110 per month. And the other $10 is the cab I usually have to take between meetings if I'm rushed. If I had a car, I guess this would be the line item for gas. I consider all of these financial needs and I pay for all of these. I consider medical needs like birth control and things like clothes and transport expenses to be necessities, and I pay for all of that. There seems to be some misconceptions. I also consider haircuts and meals to be a financial need, and I pay for that, FYI. Hope that clears the misconception. By the way, you guys might have misconceptions about how many full episodes that you can listen to.
There's a lot.
And I believe there's about 60
24-hour days of full episodes.
24-hour days worth of episodes on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio. Just search up OK Storytime.
Hundreds and hundreds of hours.
So many.
Maybe thousands of hours.
Maybe. Just maybe.
Mm-hmm.
But there is a little bit left to this story. Do you have any final thoughts?
I mean, it seems like he has his expenses down.
Yeah.
I'm just I feel like I'm feeling good about where the story's ending. It seems like he's managing it well. It seems like she heard him. I feel like this is a example of good communication.
I agree, Sam. And I also agree that there's a little bit left.
Okay.
Edit 3. Yeah, I enjoy spending time with my family. I grew up poor, and during the time, my wife racked up $35,000 of debt and didn't tell me about it until they came to seal the house and take away our furniture.
Oh my God.
Luckily, most of the things were in my name, so we got by, but that was one of the scariest things I faced. We were facing homelessness.
Wow.
That crap scares you. This was before we had kids. Having kids ranked my saving habits up a notch. I can get obsessive about it. I agree. And that is the end of that story.
Well, it does feel like we got into a better space.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think, money is such an important thing to talk about in a relationship. You kind of have to be on the same page about how you spend it and how you think about it, because you don't want to have to think about money in a relationship, but you kind of have to.
I agree. Because then you'll have to think about it way more if you don't think about it.
If you get into a situation where you're in debt, like when they're seizing all of your furniture.
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy. I refuse to replace my daughter's car. I'm not the one who destroyed it.
Not my problem.
My daughter Casey, 17 female, worked and saved up money for around a year to be able to afford a better car than we could buy her with our family budget. My other daughter, Alana, 16 female, has ADHD and recently got her driver's license and asked to drive Casey's car. Put I see you in the chat if you know what's going to happen. By the way, this comes from Last Time and Top Version 2940. I think we got a double feature Reddit story coming up, folks. So let's go. We love seeing those, both perspectives. Anyway, if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So Casey allowed it, but Alana ended up having a bad accident around 6 months ago, which basically rendered the car unusable. The insurance payout wasn't nearly enough to cover the replacement, and with Alana's medical bills from the accident, accident. Thankfully, there was no permanent damage, just a broken arm and leg. There was no way we could afford to replace Casey's car immediately. Alana was very apologetic to Casey, and so were we since we couldn't afford to replace her car. But Casey didn't accept our apology and has been basically avoiding us, skipping family dinners, and pretty much pretending that her mom and Alana and I don't exist and only talks to us if she needs a form signed for her school.
I mean,
she's pissed, of course.
Fair. The car that she spent money on without her parents' help was destroyed by her sister. And you know, if we're talking about insurance wise, if the sister destroys a car that it's not her car, then you should be paying for it.
Yeah. I begged her to come to a family therapy session, and she eventually relented, but with the condition that Alana wouldn't be present. In the therapy session, she told us that she won't be resuming a relationship with us until we replace her car, which realistically won't be until next year. When the therapist asked how she expected us to do that, Casey said we would just make Alana work to earn the money.
Yes.
Yeah, that's their idea. The issue is that Alana has severe ADHD and already has trouble managing her schoolwork. I'm worried that making her work to earn money will harm her grades and have significant ramifications for her future. Casey said, well, she should have thought about that before destroying my car. I don't care. I'm not going to speak to any of you unless I have my car replaced. I responded that she was free to avoid speaking to me as long as she wanted to, but I'm not going to permanently harm her sister's future to get her a car earlier. I had a job when I was in school, and I feel like having jobs honestly can help you have the structure needed to actually do well in school.
I understand that they're saying she's already having trouble with managing schoolwork and stuff. I just don't know if, I really don't know. I can't tell you because I'm not a doctor, if it will affect her, but I feel I don't know, they could they could figure out some sort of schedule that works for her.
Yeah. Yeah. And just working a couple hours a day.
Yeah.
After school is not going to hurt you.
Sure.
So my wife agrees with me that we need to stand firm on our position, but is genuinely afraid that Casey will never speak to us again. I understand that her car was ruined, but I, as a parent, I need to look out for all my children, not just one. I also don't want to set the precedent that emotional blackmail will work, even if what you're asking for is unreasonable. So, am I the a-hole? What do we think? Is OP the a-hole?
I understand that OP is trying to do the thing that works best for the family and is not doing it maliciously, but I do think that he is not doing the thing that benefits his daughters. Either of them.
Yeah, I agree. Either.
Yeah.
He's not teaching
I think it is.
one daughter
not
accountability.
Good for either.
Yeah, pretty rough. But we got an update. Is OP the a-hole? I think OP is the a-hole. So, Comment 1. Anyone wondering how much convincing it took for Casey to let Alana drive her car? OP, no convincing at all. We weren't even involved in the combo between them. Commenter 2, I'm with Casey on this one. You're coddling your youngest and you have no idea if having a job could actually help your youngest learn to manage her time. You've left your oldest hanging. Edit to add, if Alana can get her driver's license, she can get a job. And commenter 3, you're the a-hole. You're crapping all over Casey to protect Alana from the consequences of her actions. If her condition is that bad, why was she allowed to drive in the first place?
Which is a great point.
It's a great point.
Yeah.
I've got an update from the wife.
Ooh,
a little double trouble.
Wow.
Double trouble. So I, 39 female, and my husband, 43 male, have 2 daughters, 16, who we'll call Alana, and 17, who I'll call Casey. Casey has held down a steady job for over a year now and was able to get herself a car. Now, she got this car right as Alana passed her own driver's test. So there's a little issue between who is going to be driving. After a little persuasion, Casey did allow Alana to use her car so long as somebody else paid for gas. We told her that wasn't going to cut it. Alana doesn't have money for that, and it's her car, her responsibility to keep gas in it and keep it on the road. Wait,
I'm sorry. That's an insane thing. That's crazy.
Here's where it gets difficult. Alana wrecked it about a month ago. Luckily, she was fine aside from a broken wrist and a mild concussion, but Casey was fuming the entire time and seemed to have this expectation that we would be replacing her car. Her and my husband got into it, and she threw her arms up like a child and stopped speaking to us. We coaxed her into going to family therapy, though it wasn't productive, as she and the therapist agreed that it'd be best to maintain the reduced contact until she's paid back. The therapist agreed. Here's the problem. The car was $15,000. She saved up every penny for a year for that car. She'd asked us about it twice a week if we changed our mind, and obviously the answer was no, but that was the only thing she'd say to us. It didn't seem to bother my husband, and he kept saying she'll get over it until last week she packed some things and had my mother come get her. She's been staying at her grandmother's for a little little over a week now, and she gave me a good earful. Whatever Casey told her worked, because earlier today, my husband and I were informed we had 30 days to replace the car in full, or she was taking us to court.
Good. Yes. The therapist, your mom are all saying, pay your daughter back.
Yeah. I imagine
she spent 15. Do you know?
I bet you they have the money to pay her back too.
Yeah.
And are just choosing not to.
$15,000 at 17.
That's everything.
That's that's crazy. I had $2 at 17.
I think my husband is admirable in wanting to stand his ground, but the way I'm looking at it, we have two options. And I am sick of my daughter not talking to me because of crap that is not my fault.
It is your daughter, therefore it is your fault.
Alana has been a wreck. She's already battling severe ADHD, and now she's shaking at the thought of having to appear in court.
She doesn't have to appear in court if you pay back your daughter.
So I sat them both down and said we have two options. We can suck it up, pay $15,000, and have our daughter and sister back, and Alana will just have to buck up and work. Yes.
Yes.
Or we can let my dad sue my husband and I on Casey's behalf and almost certainly lose. At least they know. We spoke to 4 different firms, and all 4 echoed the similar sentiment that would probably cost us close to triple in the end to bring it to court and fight it there. So that's when I told my husband that I am not going 30 grand further into debt for him to hold the pettiest grudge. He's saying I'm being manipulative by holding this whole situation over his and Alana's heads. I'm not saying it's not part my fault. All I said was that no matter what, at the end of the day, we owe Casey, and he needs to just accept that.
Okay, so she's kind of come around
That's
after
good.
The threat of
oh my
being
God.
sued.
Imagine the threat of like legal action being the thing that gets you to come around.
Thank God Casey has her, grandparents.
Yeah, and thank God we have the law. We can afford $15,000 to replace the car, but if we have to dish out double that just to lose in court anyway, I'm divorcing him before he makes that mistake.
Also, literally said we can afford $15K.
Yeah. In either case, I'm done not supporting both of my daughters. We've tried reasoning with Casey, and it has resulted in nothing. I feel like she's flip-flopping.
Well, I feel like she's, I don't know, kind of come around within this post.
Yeah, but it's like she's kind of come around, but she's like also mad about it.
Yeah, she's like,
it's almost like what it feels like. It's like logically, this is what we need to do because we're gonna owe that money.
Yes.
But I'm mad about doing it.
Yeah, that's what I agree.
We've tried reasoning with Casey, and it has resulted in nothing. We lost this one. Am I the a-hole for trying to get my husband to accept it? I feel I may be, just for how long I was being a passenger, no pun intended, in the situation, and for threatening my husband with divorce. I don't think we did anything that wrong, but I'm willing to admit when we made some mistakes, and we have to make up for it somehow. But yeah, the wife is the a-hole,
also,
right?
Yeah, the consensus spot says wife is also the a-hole.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, you guys are, the only reason that she's kind of coming around is because of the legal action.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Yeah, and
they don't recognize their wrongs.
But we got some more stuff. So, relevant comments. OP and her husband need to get Alana to pay Casey back for damaging her car. OP, what is she supposed to do? Magically come up with thousands of dollars to pay the oldest back? It's not a matter of not wanting to hold people accountable. It's simply not realistic. I also want to state on the record, I was very against Casey getting a car that nice as her first. She saved up her money.
She saved up her own money.
She never listened. Insurance would have likely paid for some if she would have just put her sister as an approved driver on the plan. It would not have been difficult. But no, it's not Alana's fault that she has ADHD. It's not like she wrecked it on purpose. Contra 1. Casey saved up $50,000 and didn't pay the $300 a month to get insurance? Nope. Sounds like Alana wrote this and doesn't know how insurance works. Oh, did Alana write this? Alana, pay for the gas if you drive the car. And then OP says, she had insurance, but they really screwed us over because Casey didn't approve Alana as a driver on the plan. That was a big determining factor in us deciding to hold firm. If Alana would have been approved on the plan, we would have covered the remainder on what the insurance was offering.
But why wouldn't they have done that?
But this is the result of Casey's decision. Hence, I agreed with my husband that it's fully her responsibility. I just didn't expect her to sue us out of nowhere like this, and I especially didn't expect my parents to be enabling this behavior. What's in her best interest might suck now, but she'll learn from it in the future. My husband's been fuming for weeks over this, and a lot of you are saying he even made a post, but if they ruled not the a-hole, then he wasn't telling the full story. Alana broke her arm in that wreck, and all Casey's cared about the past month is her car.
$15,000. $15,000.
That's the genesis behind the family therapy. therapy, and I'm very concerned that so many people are supporting her entitled behavior. OP is blaming her parents for enabling Casey into suing OP and her husband. OP says, I'm not absolving them of blame either. They're the ones enabling Casey in all of this. Are you forgetting that it's my mom and dad suing on her behalf? You're nuts if you think they won't be hearing from me. Results will be danged. I'm getting angry telephone calls for a week over this crap storm. Somebody has to answer for that. Even her uncles are on her side in this. Probably because she's right.
Yeah, the fact that the law, her family, the therapist are all on her side.
Come on. Like at this point, you got to ask yourself, maybe you're in the wrong.
I'm like, it really upsets me that they're like, well, she made a choice to not have Alana be insured. It's like, I'm sorry, if your 17-year-old daughter and your 16-year-old daughter are working out their own like driving deal, maybe check in to make sure all of the insurance is okay.
Well, I think
you're the parent.
You know what I could hear them saying? It's like, well, it's your responsibility to insure your car, so you should insure it with everyone who would be driving it.
Probably.
Yeah, just like they were expecting Casey to pay for gas. Yeah. OP on what she and her husband do for Casey. OP says, we feed her, we clothe her, we're going to send her to college. She had a place to park that car because of us. And oh, by the way, my husband got under there and fixed the tie rod about a month ago after she got it. For all of you saying about how awful he is, he loves Casey, we both do, but I didn't see her putting that car up in the air to redo the brakes and fix the AC when she hit a deer. That was all her father. Wow. I figured that allowing her sister to also drive their car was more than a fair ask for all he did, and is a big reason why I supported him, and I just hate that I apparently can't support him and love my daughters.
That sounds a little bit different.
Their car.
Than Alana saying, oh, can I drive your car? And Casey saying, yeah, of course. That sounds like he helped fix Casey's car and then said, can you let Alana drive your car? That's what that sentence sounds like. I don't know if I'm misreading or reading into it. But it sounds like
I feel like we're getting like weird information here.
I know. I think that we're getting more and more. It sounds to me like Casey hit a deer, something got messed up in the car. Dad comes in, fixes it, and says, oh, because I helped you, you have to let Alana drive your car. That's what this sounds like to me.
How does that make you feel?
Not good.
Why?
Because it makes me feel like they're lying to us.
Yeah, I feel like they're lying to make themselves look better.
Yes.
I don't know. Feels like unreliable narrator.
I agree.
But if that's the resolution you all want, forget it. Casey's going to take us to court. And then when she loses, she's going to throw another fit. But that's better than dishing out $15,000 for a car we're not even going to drive. It's not lost on me that we owe her. We just don't owe her that much. She'll come around when she realizes how the world works.
You're going to realize how the world works, man.
Another update. We're like barely more than halfway through.
They are going to come crashing down so hard.
But let's get into this next update. 3 weeks later. It's been a few weeks since I last updated, and I want to start out by addressing a few things that opened my eyes a little bit in regards to the situation. Let's hope the eyes are open. The first thing being my husband's post, which came well before my own. He and I fought over that. I truthfully didn't love that he used real names. However, when I found out he posted for the sake of transparency, I used real names as well. But with that being said, I went through with the difficult decision to serve him divorce papers. I'm confused.
What?
I'm confused. It sounds like
it was the wife's perspective in the last thing we just heard, right? The one where she was like, yeah, we're taking him to court.
Yeah.
Because originally she was like, I'm going to divorce him if we go to court.
Yeah.
And then she was like, I'm taking her to court.
Well,
and then she's like, I'm divorcing
she's
him.
like, I'm not going to take her to court, but like she's going to find out if she takes us to court how, effed up it's going to be.
Yeah.
But it feels like she's partly on his side.
Yes. Which is what it doesn't make sense.
To really abbreviate things, I went to therapy, as a lot of you suggested, and I was assessed with a diagnosis for an obsessive compulsive disorder in my second session. And in my third session, we discussed the whole car situation, and my personal therapist explained it to me in a way that made it hard not to feel awful for Casey.
Now we have two therapists on Casey's side.
That are be like, you effed over Casey. The discussion we had covered quite a lot, but the common denominator in everything that's been going wrong in large part has been my husband. But you supported his decision.
Playing such
what
the
am
victim.
I not getting?
Well, she's victimizing herself. She's like, oh, it wasn't my fault. It was my husband all along.
Read back your last post.
Yeah.
He's the reason Casey shared her car. He's the reason Alana got hurt driving on her own. And he's the reason we're set for court in barely a week and still don't have an attorney.
Okay, so again, we have now confirmation that he did in fact ask Casey to share the car.
Dude, I think she's divorcing him so she
doesn't have to pay for the $15K. Yeah, that makes sense.
Well, and me, I don't know what I've been doing, but it hasn't been being a mother, if I'm honest. One of you asked me straight up, why was I being a passenger? And I just don't have a good answer. I let my parents know about the divorce and they were a little concerned, but what I didn't expect was for Casey to reach out. Last time we talked was mostly her and my husband butting heads. I really thought she was about to turn on a spit, but I've never heard her cry like that, at least not since she was much younger. I make a little bit more than my husband, but finding an apartment was brutal, especially with Alana wanting to come with me. I don't think I was clear enough about how badly I wanted to pay Casey back before, but I do. Most of my money is in joint savings though, so there isn't much I can afford, but my husband wasn't going to back down. I won't lie. I was selfish. I begged Casey to drop my name from her suit.
Wow, shocking. We're all shocked.
I told her I would pay what I could afford to get this second, which wasn't much in comparison. And she told me that it wasn't so much the car or the value on its own she wanted back. It was the security to have something of her own. And she listed off probably dozens of instances where Alana got first pick over her, and it was very hard to refute. So Alana is golden child.
Absolutely.
She told me that losing that much money sucked, which I fully understand. But the bigger loss to her was that her first big girl purchase, which a lot of friends and family were excited about, was now going to be remembered as a family-ending disaster.
I just don't understand how they could not get how big of a deal $15,000 is to anyone.
To anyone.
And like most of all, a 17-year-old.
We agreed to breakfast next week and joint therapy, us two, and her only condition was that I don't at any point try to save him from the suit, which I agreed to. Alana came to me even before my last post saying she only drove so far because my now ex-husband pressured her into picking up a grocery order early for something he wanted to make. This also changed my perspective. I was under the impression that she was doing her own thing, but even my husband owned up to it, which is ground my gears, but I put it together. A legal driver, an expensive car, not insured and under pressure. Alana drove, but I've come to realize that my ex-husband seems to have a tendency to like pressure people.
Oh my God.
He's pressured me a lot too. I don't know, dude. I feel like she's not taking any responsibility.
She's not taking any. She got herself off the suit.
Yeah. He probably pressured Casey into letting Alana drive at all, which brings me back to her, and we finished our talk with better terms. I owe her so much more than breakfast, but I'm just beyond grateful that she's even willing to look at me. I've seen a lot of bold assumptions that I hate Casey and that I vastly favor Alana.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of been true. But I only feel the second part was ever accurate. I've never hated my own daughter. I was frustrated with her over something I've come to realize wasn't her fault. As of now, I'm just adjusting to a much quieter place and my phone buzzing nonstop. I've only been moved out for 5 days and Alana seems so much less anxious to me, at least. It's odd because my place now isn't anywhere near what the house is, but I think last night, probably the first time I've slept 8 hours since high school. Today was productive, and for Casey, I'll admit, I hope she wins. I hope she gets her car and then some. As for the divorce, I don't want much material. I won't say no to it. I'd rather just have my share of joint savings and try to tackle my own issues, of which I guess I have more than I would have been willing to admit a month ago. I know I'm going to get pelted most likely, but I want you to know I'm thankful. The internet is mean, but it tells the truth. And however this turns out, it's largely your comments that helped me see what I was doing was wrong and who was enabling those things. And most importantly, how I could stop it. It's time like this where my dad would tell me, I'm not lucky, I'm privileged. And I think that applies here. I'm privileged that my daughter didn't just laugh, even though she could and arguably should have. By the way, you should laugh with us by listening to full episodes with stories just like this. Go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or your favorite podcast app and search OK Storytime. There's another relevant update, but what do we feel about everything this person is saying?
I don't trust her.
I don't trust her.
I don't trust her.
I feel like she's going to use this in court as a way to like exonerate herself.
I don't know. I just think it's like really convenient timing.
Too convenient.
You know, like she was still kind of culpable in the whole car situation.
So much so, and now she's trying to
completely exonerated herself from any of the giving back any of that money.
Yeah, I think she's fully protecting herself.
Yeah.
But there is some more updates. So that's the update. I'll update whenever Casey and I meet, barring she's comfortable with it. And then you probably won't hear from me until the whole suit and divorce is over and done with. I just wanted Reddit to know I hear you all. I wish I could have seen the reason when I first posted. I'm frustrated reading my own comments. Therapy therapy is a powerful thing. And so, commenter 1, it's great that you seem to have changed your tune a bit, but this still screams
I agree.
of avoiding being held accountable.
Yep.
Your ex-husband may have been the driving force behind the fallout with Casey, but you were trying very hard to place blame on Casey in your initial post and subsequent comments, and it's hard for me to believe you switch sides that easily. I hope Casey gets the outcome she deserves from all this, whether that's your ex-husband being taken to the cleaners or both of you. Commenter 2, you're still the a-hole.
Yep.
You allow this all to happen. Your daughter bought the car and it was okay to let the other daughter drive it and not have to pay for gas. Take some responsibility and realize you are a crap parent. That is where that story ends.
Yeah, I agree.
Frustrating.
Yeah, I think it's just frustrating that like her kind of revelation is, oh, I was never at fault for anything. It was always my husband. He was the bad guy all along.
Yeah, I'm just appalled that she doesn't believe that people would see through that a massive charade.
Yeah, like you don't just like get out of it that easily. It's not one therapy appointment and it's like,
therapy's changed me so much. No, you go to years of therapy and maybe you become less of an
Yeah.
What do you think, Keon?
I was gonna say she definitely flipped after she posted that.
Yeah.
And then the internet was like, "You're an a-hole." And
She
she's
was
like,
even flipping while she was posting it.
Yeah.
Like even in the post, it was. I'm like, this doesn't make any sense.
No.
Yeah, she's like, wait, no.
It wasn't me. I swear. I didn't do anything wrong. But that is where that story ends.